The water hit me before I even registered the shove. 1 second I was holding a three-tiered cake smiling at my parents' 30th anniversary guests. The next, I was submerged in the freezing chlorine of the family pool, the cake dissolving into a pathetic, soggy mess around me. I surfaced gasping for air, mascara stinging my eyes to the sound of laughter. Not just any laughter. Her laughter. Oops. My sister Bella sneered, looking down at me from the pool deck, not a single hair out of place. She swirled her champagne, her diamond bracelet catching the light. I guess trash really does float. I'm Arya Sterling, 25 years old. Or at least that's the name on the adoption papers my parents keep locked in a safe, probably to remind themselves of their charity. For 20 years I've been the prop in their family photos, the background character in Bella's perfect life. But as I paddled to the edge of the pool, shivering while 100 of the city's wealthiest elites stared at me with pity and disgust, I realized something. This wasn't just a prank. This was a declaration of war. And Bella had no idea she just pushed the wrong girl. Before I tell you what I found in the doctor's secret diary that changed everything, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, have you ever felt like an outsider in your own family? I hauled myself out of the pool water, dripping from my cheap hand-me-down dress, one of Bella's old ones, of course. My mother, Mrs. Sterling, didn't rush to bring me a towel. She didn't scold Bella. She just signaled the caterers to clean up the cake mess, looking at me with the same expression she used when the dog tracked mud onto her Persian rug. "Go change, Arya," she said coldly, "and use the back stairs. You're ruining the aesthetic." Bella leaned in close as I passed her, her voice a venomous whisper. "Don't forget your place charity case. You're only here because Mom needed a plaything for me when I was 5. Now that I'm CEO, I don't need toys anymore." She turned back to her fiancé Lucas, who was laughing along with her. "Did you see her face? Priceless?" I walked away, my sneakers squelching with every step. My place. I knew my place. It was the small room in the attic that used to be a storage closet. It was the seat at the kids' table even though I was 25. It was the job as assistant filing clerk at Sterling Corp, while Bella was handed the keys to the kingdom straight out of college. But as I shivered in the shower, scrubbing the chlorine from my skin, I thought about Dr. Evans. Dr. Evans was the family physician. He was 80 years old, retired, and the only person who ever looked at me with kindness. Last week, when he came to check on my father's blood pressure, he had slipped a small, heavy envelope into my pocket while Bella was busy berating the maid. "Read this," he had whispered, his hands shaking. "But only when you're ready to burn it all down." I hadn't opened it. I was scared. Scared that it would be just another confirmation that I was unwanted. That my biological parents were addicts or criminals like Bella always hinted. But tonight fear was replaced by something colder. Something sharper. I dried my hair, put on my only suit, a thrift store find that I had tailored myself, and sat on the edge of my bed. I pulled the envelope from under my mattress. Inside was a leather-bound diary. The leather was cracked, the pages yellowed. The first page read, "Journal of Martha Higgins, Midwife, 1998. I started reading. And with every page, the world tilted. October 14th, 1998. The Sterling baby was born today. A healthy girl. But the other one, my own, she's weak. She needs the best doctors, the best life. And the Sterlings, they have so much. They won't notice. Babies look the same at this age. October 15th, 1998. I did it. I switched the tags. My little Bella is now a Sterling, their daughter. I left her at the orphanage steps. I couldn't kill her. I just couldn't. I dropped the diary. My hands were trembling so hard I could barely breathe. The year we were both born. Bella wasn't the heiress. She was the daughter of the midwife. And me, the orphan, the charity case. I walked over to the mirror. I looked at my eyes, hazel with flecks of gold. Just like my father's. I looked at the shape of my nose. Just like my grandmother's portrait in the hallway. I wasn't adopted. I was returned. A knock on my door made me jump. I shoved the diary under my pillow. "Come in," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. It was Lucas, Bella's fiancé. He leaned against the doorframe holding 2 glasses of whiskey. He looked me up and down, a sleazy smile playing on his lips. Rough night, huh? He slurred slightly. Bella can be a bit much. What do you want, Lucas? Just checking on the wet t-shirt contest winner. He winked, walking into my room without invitation. He set the glasses down on my nightstand. You know, Arya, I've always thought you were the prettier one. Bella is high maintenance. But you're grateful. I like that. He stepped closer, invading my space. You know, once I marry Bella, I'll be running the company alongside her. I could make your life very easy. Better apartment, a real salary, maybe a car. And what would I have to do? I asked, backing away until I hit the wall. He reached out and touched a lock of my damp hair. Just be available. Bella doesn't have to know. We could have our own little arrangement. Rage, hot and white, flooded my veins. This man, this leech, thought he could buy me with scraps from my own table. I didn't slap him. That would be too emotional, too messy. Instead, I smiled. A cold, dangerous smile that I must have inherited from my grandmother. Get out, I said softly. Lucas blinked, confused. Excuse me. I said, get out. Before I go downstairs and tell Bella you're trying to cheat on her before the wedding cake is even dry. Lucas sneered, his nice guy mask slipping. Who's she going to believe, me, the son of a senator, or you, the jealous adopted stray? He grabbed my wrist. Don't play hard to get Arya. It doesn't suit your tax bracket. That was it. I pulled my phone from my pocket with my free hand. Recording? I said, holding the screen up to his face. Voice memo started 2 minutes ago. Want to say that bit about my tax bracket again for the cloud. Lucas released me like I burned him. You little bitch. Leave. I pointed to the door. And Lucas, fix your tie. You look desperate. He stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I stopped the recording. Saved it. Backed it up to 3 different drives. Then I picked up the diary again. Bella wanted a war. She wanted to talk about bloodlines and heritage. Fine. I wasn't going to just expose her. I was going to evict her. From her job. From her home. And from my life. I grabbed a pair of scissors and a Ziploc bag. I needed a sample. Hair would be easiest. It was time to pay my sister a visit. I waited until 3 a.m. The mansion was silent save for the hum of the pool filter, a mocking reminder of my humiliation hours earlier. I crept down the hallway, my footsteps swallowed by the plush carpet. Bella's room was the master suite in the east wing, a room 3 times the size of mine. The door was slightly ajar. She always slept with it open, demanding airflow for her skin. I slipped inside. Bella was sprawled across her silk sheets, snoring softly. On her vanity lay her hairbrush, a silver-plated antique that ironically belonged to my grandmother. I held my breath, moving like a ghost. I reached for the brush. It was full of her platinum blonde strands. I carefully pulled a clump free, shoved it into the Ziploc bag, and sealed it. Sample 1, the imposter. Next, I needed the parents. My parents. My father's study was locked, but I knew where he hid the key, under the 3rd potted plant in the hallway. I'd seen him put it there 1,000 times. Inside, I found his reading glasses on the desk. I used a pair of tweezers to pick a single gray hair from the hinge. Bag number 2. My mother's was harder. She was a neat freak. But in the bathroom, I found her razor. DNA goldmine. Bag number 3. I didn't sleep that night. I drove 2 hours to a private lab in the next city as soon as they opened. I paid for the rush processing with the last of my savings money I had been hoarding for years to escape this house. Are you sure you want the expedited service? The technician asked, eyeing my worn-out shoes. It's expensive. I'm investing in my future, I said grimly. Just tell me one thing. Is it accurate? 99.999%, he replied. Good. Call me the second it's done. The next 3 days were a masterclass in acting. I went back to work at Sterling Corp, filing papers, fetching coffee, and enduring Bella's constant taunts. Did you dry off yet, Arya? She'd laugh as she walked past my desk with her entourage. Maybe we should get you a life jacket for the next party, just in case. Maybe, I'd reply, keeping my head down. Safety first. I watched her sign documents I knew she didn't read. I watched her berate the staff. I watched her strut through the office like she owned the very air we breathed. And every time she called me useless or adopted, I just touched the pocket where I kept the receipt from the DNA lab. Tick. Tock. Lucas was avoiding me. Good. He looked pale every time our eyes met. He knew I had the recording. He knew he was standing on a trapdoor waiting for me to pull the lever. On Friday afternoon, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Ms. Sterling, the technician's voice said. Your results are ready and… wow, you might want to sit down. I'm already sitting, I said, staring at the back of Bella's head through the glass wall of her office. Tell me. Subject A. Bella has 0 genetic markers matching Subject B and C, the parents. 0. It's biologically impossible for her to be their child. I let out a breath I felt like I'd been holding for 25 years. And Subject D? I asked. Me. Subject D is a 99.99% match for both parents. Ms. Sterling, you are the daughter. I hung up. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I felt a cold, calm clarity wash over me. I walked into the bathroom, locked the stall, and looked at myself in the mirror. Hello, Arya Sterling, I whispered. Welcome home. The inheritance ceremony was the biggest event of the decade for our family. My father, claiming he wanted to secure the legacy before retirement, was officially handing over the CEO title and the majority shares to Bella. The ballroom was packed. Press investors, socialites. Champagne flowed. A string quartet played. It was a coronation. Bella stood on the stage wearing a red dress that screamed power. She looked magnificent and completely fake. I stood in the back wearing my suit. But this time I had accessorized. I wore a simple gold locket my grandmother's. I had stolen it back from Bella's jewelry box that morning. Ladies and gentlemen, my father boomed into the microphone. Today I hand the torch to the next generation. To my daughter Bella. She has the sterling fire, the sterling blood. The crowd applauded. Bella beamed, stepping forward to the podium. Thank you, Daddy, she said, her voice dripping with false humility. I have always known I was born for this. Leadership is in my DNA. I laughed. It started as a chuckle, then grew louder, cutting through the applause. Heads turned. Bella squinted into the lights. What is that? She snapped. Security, remove her. I stepped out of the shadows. I walked down the center aisle, my heels clicking rhythmically on the marble. Sorry to interrupt the coronation, I said, my voice projecting without a mic. But I think there's been a slight clerical error. Arya, my mother hissed from the front row. What are you doing? You are embarrassing us. Get out, Bella shouted. You jealous little leech. You can't stand that I won, can you? I reached the stage. I didn't climb up. I stood below them looking up. Won? I asked. Bella, you haven't even started playing the game. I pulled a thick manila envelope from my jacket. I tossed it onto the stage. It landed at my father's feet with a heavy thud. What is this trash? Bella sneered. It's a paternity test, I said. And a maternity test. My father frowned. He looked at the envelope, then at me. What are you talking about? Open it, I challenged. Unless you're afraid of what sterling blood really looks like. My father picked it up. He tore it open. He pulled out the papers. He read the first page. He stopped. He read it again. His face went gray. Richard, my mother asked, standing up. What is it? He handed the paper to her, his hand shaking. My mother read it. She gasped, a hand flying to her mouth. She looked at Bella. Then she looked at me. Really looked at me. This says… She stammered. It says Bella is a match for… no one in this room, I finished for her. Except maybe the staff roster from 1998. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Lies, Bella screamed. She forged it. She's lying because she's jealous. Is she? Dr. Evans' voice rang out from the side of the room. The old doctor walked forward, leaning on his cane. He looked tired but determined. Dr. Evans? My father asked. You. You know about this? I suspected, Dr. Evans said. But I didn't have proof until Arya found the diary. I held up the leather-bound book. Martha Higgins, the midwife. Does the name ring a bell, Mother? My mother's eyes widened. Martha, she disappeared right after the birth. Because she swapped the babies, I said. She took the healthy Sterling baby me and swapped her with her own daughter. Bella. I looked at Bella. You aren't a queen, Bella. You're a cuckoo bird. You pushed the real chick out of the nest so you could take all the worms. Bella was hyperventilating. Daddy, tell her she's crazy. I'm your daughter. I look just like you. My father looked at Bella. Then he looked at me. He looked at my eyes. My nose. The locket around my neck. My God, he whispered. She has Mother's chin. And her temper, Dr. Evans added dryly. Lucas, sensing the ship was sinking, tried to intervene. Now hold on. This is all very shocking, but Bella is the one who has been trained. She's the CEO. Biology doesn't change competence. I turned to Lucas. Competence? Is that what you call sleeping your way to the middle? I pulled out my phone. Bluetooth connect main screen. The massive screen behind the stage, which had been displaying a photo of Bella, suddenly changed. It played a video. A black screen, but the audio was crystal clear. You know, Arya, I've always thought you were the prettier one. Just be available. Bella doesn't have to know. It was Lucas's voice. Unmistakable. The crowd erupted. Lucas turned red. Bella turned on him. You hit on her. My sister. The charity case. She's not a charity case, Lucas yelled back, panicking. She's the heiress, and you're just the maid's kid. Slap. Bella hit him. Hard. Stop it, my father roared. He grabbed the microphone. Everyone, leave, now. The ceremony is cancelled. Not cancelled, I corrected. Corrected. I walked up the stairs onto the stage. I stood next to my father. I looked out at the board of directors. My name is Arya Sterling, I said. And I am taking back my name, my company, and my pool. My pool. Those words hung in the air, heavy with 20 years of suppressed rage. My father looked at me, really looked at me as if seeing a ghost. Or perhaps seeing an asset he had undervalued. Arya. He started reaching out a hand. Daughter. I stepped back. Don't. Bella was on the floor, sobbing into her red dress. It was a pathetic sight. The queen had lost her crown, and without it she was just a girl in a costume. Daddy, please, she wailed. It's me, your Bella Bear. You can't just unlove me because of some paper? My father looked down at her. His expression wasn't one of heartbreak. It was one of calculation. He saw a liability, a fraud, a public relations nightmare. You aren't my daughter, he said coldly. You are a lie. Every day you walked in this house was a theft. But I didn't know, Bella screamed. You knew enough to treat Arya like dirt. My mother interjected, her voice sharp. You knew enough to push her in the pool, to mock her. You have the cruelty of a stranger. Security, my father barked. The same guards who had dragged me out of the pool days ago stepped forward. But this time, they weren't looking at me. Escort this woman off the premises, my father ordered, pointing at Bella. And strip her. The room gasped. Strip her? I asked, raising an eyebrow. The jewelry, my father clarified. The earrings, the bracelet, the watch. Those belong to the Sterling family. She is not a Sterling. Bella shrieked as the guards took her arms. No, these are mine. You gave them to me. I gave them to my daughter, my father said. You are just a trespasser. One by one they removed the diamonds, the Cartier watch, the Tiffany necklace. Bella fought them, scratching and biting, looking feral. It was ugly. It was brutal. It was justice. And you? My father turned to Lucas. Lucas held up his hands. Mr. Sterling, sir, I was duped. Just like you, I'm a victim here. You tried to cheat on my daughter with my other daughter, my father growled. You're not a victim, you're a leech. Get out. And tell your father the merger is off. Sterling Corp doesn't do business with trash. Lucas fled, running out the side door like a rat escaping a sinking ship. Bella was dragged out the front, still screaming my name. Arya, help me. We're sisters. I watched her go. No, Bella, I whispered. We were never sisters. We were just roommates. And you were a terrible roommate. The ballroom cleared out quickly after that. The press had their story of the century. The investors had their scandal. I was left alone with my parents. My biological parents. My mother approached me tentatively like I was a wild animal that might bite. Arya, darling, look at you. You're beautiful. Just like my mother. She reached out to touch my face. I flinched. Don't touch me, I said. Arya, please. My father said, his voice softening into that persuasive tone he used in boardrooms. We made a mistake. A terrible mistake. But we didn't know. We were victims of a crime just like you. Victims. I laughed. You treated me like a servant in my own house.